Sometimes you just sort of sit here and wait for the green light. Is it streaming? I don't know. Probably. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We just wrapped session 53 of Curse of the Crimson Throne. We're coming down to the end, but we got a little ways to go yet. So let's walk you through the prep and the conversion that I used and give you some insights and conversations I've had with the party and those sorts of things. So, starting at the top, what did I do to prep? I figure we have three final story beats, if you will. I don't want to call them encounters. I don't want to call them sections. I mean, you could call them chapters, but they're not. They're not really chapter size. They've been compressed a little bit. Just the important stuff, right? There's a lot of third editionism, if you will, where the adventure assumes that they need to kill a certain number of things to level up, and we're doing milestones. We don't need any of that, so they're just going to level up when I say so, and they'll. We talked to the group. The group would like to go to 17, so we'll do that before the Sunken Temple part that's coming up. So, what did I prepare? Well. There's the rebellion that's going on, and the first chapter has a mechanic wherein the party is supposed to build to a number of rebellion points. I pretty fairly assumed that they weren't going to do that. There was a lot of talk about, let's just teleport to the throne room. Let's just teleport right in there and take her out. Let's just finish this and da 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 da. So, kind of assumed that's what they were going to do, and they may have, except I warned them during some of what I discovered in the conversion, we'll talk about in a second, that they were quite likely overstacked for the one of the upcoming encounters. I didn't tell them specifically which one, and so they assumed it was this one. It was not. It's the final encounter that's heavily overstacked, like silly. And yeah, anyway, so I kind of advised them to use some strategy and use their heads and come up with some things, and I kind of wanted to set that in, and I didn't mind too much if they misread the thing, but they were way too cautious, like far more cautious than they usually are. So I pointed out to the group after the session, and it's on the stream. I think you can hear it. This is not the one I was talking about. This one will probably go pretty easy. We'll see how it actually goes. So, conversion. Before I ramble on too much about what happened and what I thought of it. The most powerful magic user I could find in the book to substitute for Iliosa is Halaster Blackcloak from Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage, level 20 wizard. With all of the abilities that the party has, with the action economy imbalance, I think they can win this fight. I think they'll win it pretty handily as written. So I did for the Iliosa that they're fighting right now, which they don't realize, and hopefully they're not listening to this to realize it before next week when it's revealed, because there's art and everything. It's good. This is some simulacrum. This is a phony. So I just pulled off some of the Undermountain specific abilities, being able to open and close the doors and activate the portals and be immune to portal bad effects and dumb stuff like that. Or, well, unnecessary. I mean, it's fine for that adventure. It doesn't fit here. I pulled all that out, and ta-da! Here we have our phony Iliosa. So it's almost a single character. There is a Rakshasha and some Hellhounds that are going to get summoned first action, and some guards, right? But they're fodder. They're just fodder, and the fight's still going to go pretty fast. So I wanted a stiff opponent, spellcaster, that can throw some spells at them. Now, Halaster's stat block is mostly unchanged, except for removing some of those abilities that I wouldn't have used anyway because they're not relevant. This caster has Wish. This could be interesting, right? They'll probably try to counterspell it. This caster also has Counterspell. So we're going to counterspell the counterspell. And are we going to counterspell the counterspell the counterspell? Maybe. I don't know if they have that many. If they do, we'll be burning through spell slots pretty fast. So whatever the case, some of these spells are going to go off. Now, the hit points are not that high, so they're probably going to burn it down pretty soon. Neither here nor there. I expect them to win this fight, so that one doesn't bother me too much. Now, to make the true Iliosa Arbasti, I just doubled the HP because Simulacrum has half the HP, so double the HP. This also put it pretty close to in line to the 3rd edition HP that the character has in the book. So she's beefy now. That's the only change I made. She's going to be in the very, very last encounter. She's in this pool and all this other stuff. And I'll talk a little bit about that encounter. Right now I'm focusing on the conversion. So Hallister stripped up some things off. Then that's the Simulacrum. And then double the HP. That's the actual. There's an Ifriti and a Kraken, and those are just statted as is. The Ifriti is going to cast Wish as well. If the Ifriti stat block doesn't have Wish, fine, I'll throw it on. I didn't bother to check. It doesn't matter. It's more a narrative thing than anything else. I used the stats for a Fire Main Angel as the Iliosa's Fury. I just thought that was a cool looking piece of art, right? It's this winged fighter woman. There's like 6 of them in an encounter. Just noteworthy. I don't want to like skip over everything. And then for the Teninver, I don't know what this is. This is a Pathfinder undead dragon that is the spirit of the blue dragon. I just put a Dracolich in there. The Dracolich was a blue dragon per stat block anyway with the lightning breath, so that's just a better fit. I've just swapped that out with Dracolich. I named it Teninver. The art will still be, it doesn't have legs. But other than that, nah, I'm not messing with that too much. I don't think it'll matter. So for the pins, we've got the false Iliosa, the throne room fight, which again is those creatures that I've mentioned. Palace Patrol, just in case they were sneaking around and fighting. This is just a handful of Grey Maidens, the challenge rating 3 Grey Maidens. It's not like they're going to be difficult to fight, but maybe they'll consume some resources. The Ifriti and the Kraken. I named the Ifriti the same as the one in the book, but it's just Ifriti. Again, the Iliosa's Fury. There are 6 of them. And I talked about the I can't say that word. Dracolich. Talked about the Dracolich. And then that encounter. Now, that encounter has the Dracolich. That encounter has the true Iliosa. That encounter also has, and I'm not making this up, 6 Iliosa Simulacrums, who, by the way, can all cast Wish and Counterspell. And, right? Kaboom! I don't know why there are 6 in there. I genuinely don't know how the party's supposed to handle this. I kind of think that's going to wipe them out, but it's also kind of sort of the outcome of what happened here. So, yeah, I don't think it's fair to intervene, to be quite honest. I don't know how to mess with it successfully, to be quite honest. So, tune in next week, guys, or 2 weeks later, whenever that fight happens. You'll want to see that one because, boy, I have no idea how that's going to turn out. Like, none. Like, the action economy is not really going to be in their favor. They're going to be 7... 8 DC 20 enemies in the encounter, hit points to spare. They're not going to be able to just blow through them. They're not going to have a whole bunch of allies on their side. I don't know how this is going to go. I really don't know. We'll see. I mean, but that's how it converted, and it's gonna. So it's weird. It will totally make sense and be relatively easy, on par for difficulty fight when there's one of them in the throne room. When there's 6 of them, I just don't understand what the authors were thinking. But so I left it. I may chicken out or change it or intervene in some way. I reserve the right to do that, right? Yeah, I don't know. They do have that badass sword, though. That might flip things in their favor. We'll see. So I also, for some pins, the maps of the castle and stuff. I didn't have the map of Corvosa ready. I didn't have the map of the Grey Wardens ready. There's some other things that I honestly thought they were going to teleport right into that throne room, and they didn't. So I had done just a little bit of prep in case they didn't, and of course I prepped the wrong things. As a game master, you will prep the wrong things, and you just roll with it. There's nothing else you can really do. Um, So, what I plan to do: teleport directly into lair. Easy fight, queen revealed. Waves of guards for stress and to prolong the fight, but it won't be dangerous. Search the castle for clues. Crusetta may help here. Head toward the mush fence. What I figured, if rather than go room by room and opening all the drawers and fighting all the guys, I figure if the party takes down the false queen, um, we will do a narrated attack and description of sort of what happens otherwise, because the forces around her will probably crumble or run away or both, right? Um, so then they can maybe find the documents when they're rummaging through, and I've got those pins ready for the handouts to just sort of show the party and move them into the next phase relatively quickly. Like, I'm not going to go from this huge climactic fight with sort of an anticlimactic end to now you go to a dungeon crawl, go room by room. I'm not doing that. And I don't need to do that because, as mentioned, this is not third edition. They don't need to get all those experience points. So, what actually happened? Well, yeah. So, party teleported, message Cressetta. Sending. They came to the Grey Wardens. Talked. Decided to use a magic bean. I hate the magic beans. I hate them so much. So I didn't say this during the stream, right? But in about this time, the Wizards of the Coast team is trying to release their Deck of Many Things product, Book of Many Things, I think it's called. I've stopped purchasing or participating in that ecosphere very much, so I don't know a ton about it. But the Deck of Many Things is like this chaos generating engine that just has always blown up campaigns. And I have never, maybe once, but I don't think I have ever introduced this in actual play and said, here you go. How many cards do you want to draw? I've never done that. I've never wanted to do that. I don't think I've ever done it. Because it just blows everything up. And that seems like it's fun. And when you're playing D&D, like for the first time, or you're in your early seasons, yeah, remember that time? When you've been doing it as long as I have, God, that sucks. It's just like, no, not for me, not for me, not for me, not for me. So, in that way, I've never been like, oh, here's the deck. Oh, you have to give the party the deck. The book says the party gets the deck of many things. It's never happened. And so, yeah. Bag of Beans, however, happened. And you guys have watched what's gone on there. So they had hoped to use the Bag of Beans as a distraction. It instead produced them several potions by the way of magical fruit and was not that big a deal. I whipped up some potions using D&D Beyond's item count. Had like 37 potions initially, and so I did a 1d37 roll and narrowed it down. Everybody got anything except for the one person who got poisoned, as mentioned in the stat block, and they knew it because they linked the die result into chat. But that's fine. You should, eyes wide open, know these things, right? But I decided to let them sample the potions, and that way they're not just like all popping these abilities right in this second. They get a little nifty magic consumable out of the last bean. Good riddance, bag of beans. I'm never giving out another bag of beans again. I'm probably not playing D&D again after this either. With that being said, like, no, just not my style. No, thank you. So then when that didn't work, they approached the castle. They approached the castle and just asked to be let in. There was so much debate. We're going to actually put that in here. Debate. Again, I told them hey, you're probably going to get TPK'd, and sorry about that, and I'll explain why after, because it makes complete sense. Um, just I don't know. I wanted them to know what to expect. I wanted them to be cautious. But then they were like way too cautious. Like, got a plan, got a plan. What are we gonna do? Right? It's like, no, come on, no, not that cautious. But yeah, and it's weird too because now I'm worried they're gonna let their guard down. I can give them another foreshadowing and hopefully prevent that. But they'll be like, she's easy. You just gotta watch that one spell or something. It's like, yeah, there's 7 of them. 7 of them. Just 7 of them. I don't know. I don't know. I would like to talk to the author of this and find out what the heck you were thinking. I mean, I guess they weren't wizards; they were bards in his version, but still, 7 high-level bards is still gonna wreck some stuff. Anyway, it worked. Iliosa wanted to talk to them. So they let them in. We had a confrontation in the what's it called? Courtroom? Throne room. And we paused there. There was one other thing. One of the magic beans was a potion of clairvoyance. I use this to foreshadow the queen being fake. Now, a simulacrum doesn't necessarily behave as though they're a mannequin, but I just wanted to make sure that that was underscored and foreshadowed and set up. It's not right per the book or whatever, but for what I want the story to be, I wanted and it worked. I wanted the party to go, there's something magic going on here, there's something not right. And then when she explodes into a big old pile of blood, they'll be like, oh, that's not the real queen. And yeah. So the clairvoyant potion, I forgot about that part, but that they used that. So, and this, did the cliffhanger thing. It's not really a cliffhanger thing per se. It's just like we are supposed to stop at 9 p.m. and it was like 9:20 at that point. So it's like, okay, we're wrapping it up there. Before the confrontation, Brannigan used his True Sight ability from his sword to ascertain that the Rakshasa was a Rakshasa. Now, Rakshasa are immune to spells and abilities below 6th level, just straight up immune. So he's like, I want to use this thing, and I didn't quite get what it was at first. He's like, oh, it's from the sword. So I pulled up the sword because I was trying to determine, is this detection ability 6th level or higher? So take, for example, the paladins detect good and evil. I gave him the vague sense that evil was there, but if he had something that was going to specifically pinpoint the Rakshasa and reveal its identity, I would rule that no, those innate abilities are not as powerful as a 6th level spell. So I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work. I actually said during the stream, I said, well, you need to watch the recap for this one because who knows. But as it happens, it's True Sight, which is a 6th level spell. So, bada bam. Sees it, gave him the cause for attack. He asked the sword. The sword's like, get her, dude. And he proceeded to get her dude. So he got his free swipe in. We let somebody get a spell off. I threw it out there. Does anybody else want to? And there wasn't really any takers on that. So, yeah, we've got initiative rolled. Everything's queued up in Fantasy Grounds for next time we play. Right into combat. Like I said, should go pretty fast. We've got several actors on the board, but Fantasy Grounds is great for automating and speeding this sort of things up. I have to make sure and call that out during the normal stream next time. Okay, that's it. I probably rambled on long enough. This one was a relatively packed game, which is good. And again, lots of prep. I'm ready for whatever comes next time. Had they actually gone down the chapter or the part one, chapter 6, part 1 list of to do tasks from Crusada, I would have to do a lot more prep. I don't think they're going to. As I thought, they're marching forward. Let's go fight the queen. They're going to find out the queen is fake. They're going to find out the queen is not there, and probably want to go to where the queen is. Probably. And if so, we'll just skip that first part. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it kind of does, but it's just there to slow things down, and we don't need it slowed down. Anyway, as always, you know the thing, do the YouTube things and what have you. At least a couple more of these left. We'll be talking to you soon, and then we're going to put a pin in it. Have fun playing whatever game it is you enjoy. Reach out to me